Well, I'm Ananya Mira of CryptoChicks, and as Jeff said, we are live at Blockchain Futurist conference, and that's Jeff Pulver from Alchemist. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. You had just a fantastic presentation, a lot of great feedback. A lot of people praised you on what you said, and you were talking about the value of the companies bringing into their product and the content what they're delivering to. But I think I will add to it also virtues to people, like are they virtuous in order what they are doing, right? How they approaching their life, how they approaching their work, and the ethics.
Remembering to breathe is a very big thing.
Yes. So from Alchemist perspective, you invested in a lot of companies, the plethora of the companies. What are the values you're looking for the companies?
It really depends upon what company, what value, what the opportunity is. But it starts off with who they are. Who is the team? Is it a team that has the opportunity, do we think it could find themselves? Like, it may be a great idea, but it's really people first. Is it the people are going to actually create something and have the ability to shift and find what it is they're really going to focus on and then execute? So it's going to be team, product, value, but then it's like, who are they? And when we're really busy, we like working with fun people, smart people that we think are a representation of where the future goes. So it's a dynamic which is really hard to describe per person, but when you meet some of the teams we know, there's always a wow, like, oh my God, I can't believe like how brilliant or how special or how you just feel that energy, and it's bigger than them. They're together, they create something that's just very special.
So if you see the company, when you have two companies to choose from, and one company has a fantastic team, lesser of the product, and then you can see the product, but you are you have a feeling about the team. Which one would you choose?
If I could see the product but the team doesn't, that's a challenge too. Because at the end of the day, they have to be behind whatever they create, the best we can do. So if we're working with a company who wants to do a security token or a token offering because they're raising funds, it's all about story. It's all about where are they? Are they pre-revenue, post-revenue? What are they looking to raise and why them? And when I introduce them to my friends, what are they going to take away? Like, what are they going to remember about the vision, the idea, the concept? I mean, I have a whole comparison. I've invested in my life in over 400 startups personally.
Yes, you changed the world. We know that.
But when I did that, I learned to compare startups to rock bands. Because whenever I meet a startup, I mean, frankly, when I sit down, even at events like this, for 20 minutes of pitches, if I said yes to the meeting, I'm already interested. The first 3 minutes, I know whether or not I want to invest, and the next 17 minutes, they convince me whether or not I want to invest or not. And so it's really about how they share their story, how they present, how they connect.
So in the environment as it is right now, in the regulatory issues and still some things which are undefined, do you think that ICOs have the future?
I think that where we have a future is redefining capital markets. That if we get too granular, I think ICO should have actually stood for Internet Crowd Offering. The fact that someone was silly enough to call it an initial coin offering, tragic mistake in marketing. Because this comes from the genesis of the days of Indiegogo and Kickstarter, where people were trying to fund projects. So if you're going to the crowd trying to fund your dreams, that should continue. But rather than putting it down the path of an ICO, which has a lot of darkness, think about it as being responsible to the community that's funding you. Call it an internet crowd offering and act accordingly. So, will people continue to be able to go to the crowd to fund a dream? Absolutely. Will there be regulatory uncertainty about what this means? Probably, because we're breaking new ground. We're working outside the boundaries of what people understand things to be, and we're defining things new, which makes it interesting and fun. So from my perspective, will there be crowdfunding in the future? Absolutely. In America, there's something called the Jobs Act to actually help make this simplify. There's something called, there's Rule CF, which allows unaccredited investors to invest in about $1 million in anybody. You have Reg A Plus, which actually simplifies up to, I think, 50 million right now, and we're hoping to change that to go to 100 million. And then of course you have the old rules, Reg A, Reg D, Reg S, which is how private placements have always worked. And so, will people be able to go to the crowd and use tokens? Maybe, but we can't really confuse the two. Blockchain technologies is disruptive to the future because it changes a fundamental business element. Blockchain by nature brings trust back to business. Fundamentally, being able to have integrity.
I like that point which you mentioned, that blockchain fundamentally brings trust to the business.
It just brings trust back to business. You cannot hide anything behind anything anymore. So you have trust, you have integrity, you have the opportunity to now go back and fix things that were wrong because of a lack of trust. Right? So when someone asks me what does blockchain mean to me, it's about integrity, it's about trust. And frankly, it's like, being able to have a database where in very simple terms, you can't delete an entry. Or if you do delete it, everybody knows you deleted the entry, so we just don't delete.
Yeah, unless there's a consensus to do so.
Right, but then we all knew it, right? So that ability to be accountable. So what are we really talking about? We're talking about a technology innovation that brings back ethics to business. Because now we actually can do things where there's accounting and accountability. And frankly, if you look at a company's chain, and you look at how their ecosystem's evolving, you could actually learn a lot about a business unit, a lot about an ecosystem, simply by looking at the transaction.
There's one more question I want to ask at the end, and that question is, do you have a dream deal?
A dream deal?
Dream deal. What's your dream deal? That's something really the company would love to work with,
I would love
or what the company would represent?
So I met, when I was in Antigua, Guatemala, I met the team building the Magellan telescope in Chile. They need $200 million to continue funding their research, which will be used around the world for universities to scan the night sky. I would love to have an opportunity to help them with their security token.
Like astrology?
It's astrology, astronomy. It's all about.
Astronomy, astrology.
It's all about.
Like the Babylonians. Here we come.
So having a project that enables people to do research,
yes,
and to use a platform that enables others to help facilitate that, that's fun to me.
So we're talking about virtues, values, and ethics, and we're going back in the history to actually move into the future and yes, to find the future in the stars. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks.